about these great stories that I have. Harlem was something in those days. Living it, working it, and seeing it. And once again, I had a car, but I prefer to commute because sometimes you couldn't always find a place to park. You know, it's tough parking in New York, especially Harlem. Harlem, they will double park and even triple park in some areas. That's just the way it was. So I'm walking across the corner and I get to 8th Avenue, and then once again you got 4 different guys standing on milk cartons, milk crates, the wooden milk crates, preaching something. Islam, Christianity, the Jehovah's Witnesses, and there's always an atheist. There's always somebody telling you there's no God, no, he's Antichrist. But that's okay, because that's a part of it. But it's exciting. I can't wait to get to work so I could see what's happening. So I'm standing on the corner, and here's a guy who runs up on a lady, and he tries to snatch her purse. Now, look, purse snatching is everywhere. It wasn't just Harlem. People trying to snatch purses, I don't care where it was. So that's what I'm trying to say. I don't want the stigma of things always going wrong in Harlem to be hovering over the universe, because it was not like that all the time. There are rare incidents like it is in other cases. But he tried to grab this lady's purse, and she was holding on to it tight. And as he tried to grab it, she pulled it back and knocked him to the ground. By now, he's on the ground, she over him, and here comes a bunch of guys beating him up for taking advantage of this little old lady. Now, that's the way it was. Everybody didn't turn a blind eye on what was happening. So you had to be real careful about what you did in those days. Now, it's kind of different now. But back then, don't mess with no little old lady, because you don't know what you're getting into. So I'm walking across 125th Street, and I get to the tailor shop. By now understand, I'd only been working there a couple of days, but Ori gives me a key to his store, so that if he didn't come in early enough, I could let myself in. I said, wow, isn't this amazing? I just noticed, man, a couple, 3 days ago, and he says, well, here's a key, because he came in early all the time, but he didn't always. Sometimes he had to do some other things. I mean, he's human like the rest of us. So he gives me a key. Now, I got a key to this man's store, and we just barely know each other. But he had enough faith in me to see that I was going to be responsible about taking care of his business, of which I did. So I go there, I let myself in, and I go, and the first thing we did when we got in the tailor shop in the morning was we turned the boiler on. Now the boiler, we had a pressing machine. Old fashioned. And on the side of the pressing machine, there was a boiler tank. It wasn't but so big, maybe 10 gallons. Okay, 10 gallons. Now it might not have been 10 gallons. It was more like a 2.5 gallon tank, because it was only about that big. And what you had to do in the morning was you had to turn the valve, let the water in. And once it filled up, you see a little water line go up. Once it filled up, then all of a sudden you turned it on, and it took like a half an hour for the water to get hot to create steam for the pressing machine. And it stayed on all day. You have to always be careful about the water line, because if the water drained out, you'd blow the tank. Well, for some odd reason, this tank wasn't working this day. So I didn't know what to do. So I had to wait for Ori to come in. He said, oh, call Shorty. Now, I haven't met Shorty yet. I don't know who Shorty is. Shorty was a guy named John Ruffin, but everybody called him Shorty because he was short, and he really was short. Now, Shorty had an in and out thing with being a wino. He drank a lot of wine, but then he'd be on the wagon for a long time, sometimes years, they say, and all of a sudden he'd just fall off. But Shorty was 125th Street handyman. There was nothing that Shorty could not fix. I kid you not, nothing. And every merchant on 125th Street, and I do mean every merchant, never called these outside firms to fix whatever it was, plumbing, electrical, you name it, the boiler, and care what it was, Shorty could fix it. Now, I never knew Shorty's background, but there it was. Shorty, John Ruffin. So, Shorty didn't have a telephone, or he didn't know where Shorty lived. All he knew was put the word out, Shorty show up. So, and that's all you did. You just put the word out. They had a Harlem underground telephone, which put the word out, and it'll travel up and down the street till they find who they're looking for. They found everybody this way because half these guys didn't have telephones. But just put the word out. Somebody eventually will know where Shorty is. They'll get the word to Shorty, and Shorty will show up and fix whatever it is. Because Shorty came by and started working on the boiler. He hadn't finished it yet before somebody came into the tailor shop because they knew Shorty was in our tailor shop. And it just so happened to be Brownie, who was up at the hat store. They had something wrong up there. Now this is how Shorty made his money. He had no regular job. He was like the 125th, and I do mean 125th Street, 125th Street fix-it-all guy. And he didn't do nothing but travel up and down the street fixing whatever problems you have. Don't know where he got all his knowledge, but he had it. He was a real nice guy. Now, when I met him, he was sober. I'm just hearing stories about when he goes on his little drunken binges, but didn't bother me. He was just a real nice guy. And he could fix anything. And everybody used him. If something went wrong in the Apollo Theater, they didn't call in the big boys. They called Shorty. Any one of those stores up and down 125th Street, they called Shorty. You know. So I done met Shorty now. I said, wow. You know, I'm thinking to myself, who else am I going to meet that hangs out in the tailor shop? Because if Shorty didn't have anything to do, anything to fix, he hung out in the tailor shop. Everybody hung out in the tailor shop. It was like the central meeting place for everybody up and down 125th Street. Guys coming in all day long. I'm meeting all these different people. And they would hang around the tailor shop, get a little drink of scotch, or it kept scotch in there. If you ever wanted a drink, come by Ori's Custom Tailoring. You can get a drink, believe me. Because all those guys drank scotch. Well, I don't know if scotch was their primary drink, but if you come in Ori, that's what you're going to drink because that's what he drank. So he drank it, you're going to drink it. So there was, all day long, there's guys in and out. So it's not like a place where there's never no one in there but Ori and I. Because all day long, it's a revolving door. People coming in and out, in and out. And I'm saying to myself, barbershops are like that to a point. Guy goes in a barbershop, most of the time he gets his hair cut, but he gets the conversation of the day that's in there. They don't necessarily come there just to hang out. Well, Ori's was the place where you just came to hang out. Number, writers, you name it. They were just in and out, in and out, in and out. So I'm saying to myself, this is some kind of place here that Ori's Custom Tailoring is. He was a legend. He was a real legend back in the day. And I'm so glad I could share his story with you as well as mine. Because, to be very honest with you, I have no story without Ori Walls. It's through him that I'm able to bring you guys all these stories. Now, I'm going to come at you guys with some stuff that's going to be shocking to you from these stories. But these are real stories about real people and real incidents that will happen to me while I am on this journey on 125th Street, going back and forth, up and down 125th Street, from getting off the subway to where my work is, the things that I saw, the things that I did, mainly the people that came in and out of Ori's Custom Tailoring. It isn't really just about the entertainers from the Apollo Theater. This is about the real people, the people of the street. Now, they didn't live on 125th Street, even though people lived on 125th Street. 125th Street was a configuration of short buildings. Most of them were just 2 stories high, some were 3. But there were nothing but a commercial front. But guess what? Over this commercial front, people lived in those. I never went in one, but there were apartments. Over every building, there was an apartment, except like our building, which was 4 stories high. We were one of the tall buildings. Then you had the Teresa Hotel, which was, I don't know, 14, 15 stories high. And you had Bloomstein. Well, nobody lived over those. But every other store on 125th Street was about a 2-story building. And they had the storefront down here, and you had the people living over it. I never met any one of the people over it. But the people that came and walked those streets, doing different things, that's who I'm going to tell you about. The brother from Harlem here,